Welcome back for part 2 of our discussion on Rogue One. That's a weird thing to say. Stay tuned for this. You're going to enjoy it. Thank you. Jyn and Cassian are trying to get away, and an Imperial droid comes around the corner and she shoots it, and then K2 comes out from right behind it. He's like, "Did you know that wasn't me?"
And then we found out an improv line when the stormtrooper starts questioning him. He smacks him in the mouth, and there's a fresh one for you if you keep that talk up.
Yeah.
Improv fucking
The two
line.
of them improv that whole scene.
Yeah.
Did he actually
Like, they
smack
thought
Diego
that
Luna?
was-
That's hilarious.
I mean, I hope so.
That sounds amazing.
It's also important to point out, like plot point, that the whole reason that they get involved with these two guardians of the Wills in the first place is because he calls her over because of her necklace. He senses the power from her necklace. Now, if we know Star Wars lore, we were talking kyber crystals and blah, blah, blah. She has a clear kyber crystal around her neck, which is like white kyber crystal.
It could just be
It's
that we don't know the color yet.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not
extremely-
activated.
Supposedly in lore,
Shut
this
up.
is extremely rare, and only Ashoka before her.
Well, that's
ever-
we learned all about that on a previous episode. You don't actually get a white kyber crystal. You have to take the color out of
She purified red kyber crystals.
it. But yes, Donnie Yen does get involved. He's like, "Let these two pass in peace. The Force is with me, and I'm one with the Force."
His mantra.
his thing.
That's what I say when I'm trying not to come.
And then we get this badass staff. I put in my notes, badass staff quote fight, because it's not a fight. He just whoops the shit out of an entire group of
Daredevil.
stormtroopers.
I mean, like he sees, just not with his fucking eyes.
It looks okay.
Well,
It
he
looks
actually
okay.
explains, and he makes a comment right before this. This is actually kind of important, where he talks about everything occurs as the Force wills it,
Yeah.
which
Which I don't
Throughout
like
this movie,
because that's
too-
like Cameron fucking Crowe, or no, what's his name? Who's the religious?
Cameron Diaz.
No, who's the religious guy? From
Cameron
Cameron Poe.
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron.
Cameron Poe,
It's
yeah.
Kirk Cameron. Like it's just all part of God's
no,
plan.
I know, yeah, where everything has a designated, but
That typhoon was
we
meant to
know
kill
that, like,
homosexuals.
The Force doesn't work that way. That like if you work with the Force works with you, and
It's cool to be anti-religious, but like then that includes the fucking Force in these movies. I mean, that's
Force
all
isn't
it
the
is.
religion.
you know?
The Jedi are. The Force exists.
It's-
That's the difference between spiritual and religious.
But that's what I'm saying. The whole thing about it is all that otherworldly thing that guides
it's magic.
you, et
It's a
cetera.
bunch
It
of
is.
simple
I
So
tricks.
look, the
and-
Force
and
is
so
the
is the
Force is
Bible.
more like
Yeah.
what do they call it? Not midichlorians. That's in Star Wars. What are the things that Scientologists believe in?
oh fuck, I don't know. Cthulhu
Tom
monsters?
Cruise. the Mission Impossible movies. The Mission Impossible Chlorians.
What's the name of that Scientology guy? Tom Cruise.
I gotta say though, you watch those things that he does, and he's like hanging off of fucking airplanes and shit. I'm like, I think Xenu's got him. I think if I wanted to like,
He's
do
been
some shit
blessed by
like that,
Xenu
Xenu.
might be the ticket guy.
I know.
Not
I think
gonna lie.
I kind of want to go into a Scientology and be like, can I do that shit Tom Cruise does?
I mean, the
Can-
evidence is there.
Can I at least run for like 30 seconds without dying?
You have to run away from your gay feelings.
That's true.
That's
also
what
that.
really motivates him.
If I need to run away from my gay feelings, that's what my father wanted me to do my entire life. And I'm straight.
I like when Donnie Yen is like, this guy Baze. He's like, he thinks the Force is going to protect him. He's like, the Force did protect me. Like, no, motherfucker, I protected
shot,
you.
Yeah.
I have this Gatling gun of blaster
It's
stuff.
like, let's thank God for our meal. It's like, I paid for this shit. Like,
Dude,
thank
It
God.
is referred to that Baze at one point was one of the most dedicated guardians of the wills of them all.
But how could the fucking Force let this happen to their temple?
So then Two Tubes and his folks come and take all of our heroes away.
Two tubes, tiny teeth, blindy, impotence.
Hey, Johnny
Hey,
Two
chronic
Tubes.
depression. Put the fucking handcuffs on him and walk him over to fucking chronic diarrhea.
We had
I
Johnny
guess if
Two
I have
Tubes
to.
because he breathed through 2 tubes 2 times. I got to go breathe through the 2 tubes. The 2 tubes.
His name really should be 4 tubes.
Bring him over to Panic Attack and we'll see what we can do about finding a jail cell. Fear of Intimacy's coming to dinner this weekend.
I didn't know you were in Star Wars.
We had
You know I am.
we had mouth balls, walrus face.
Well, Walrus face is mouth
Well,
balls.
these are my friends. Down syndrome, autism, cerebral palsy here. Also, why would you do that? Why wouldn't it be Saw? It's like, here's a Down syndrome, autism, and cerebral palsy. My followers.
I've got to go because I've got to start rewriting a Goodfellas and Star Wars.
A special
crossover.
needs
I'll be
Goodfellas?
right back.
Samuel L. Jackson, he's still going to be in it. Whether we're talking about Star Wars or Goodfellas.
Mace Windu is getting gassed in his bedroom.
So
Great scene.
Donnie Yen's trying to pray his way out of prison, which doesn't work.
It does.
Well, does it?
Yeah, door's open, right?
When fucking Cassian hits it with a stick.
Yeah, because the Force sent him there. I'm just kidding, dude.
This is one of the things that I didn't like. So, Donnie Yen and other guys said, Baze. We've been in worse prisons than this or worse cages than this. And Cassian says,
That's a first for me.
first for me. No, it wasn't, bitch. I saw you in prison. Why? And here's the thing. Him lying to make himself look cooler and like, bigger than he is. I get that. Why would he lie about this?
That was a big thing for me. I was like,
That's
worse
the
prisons
only
than
one.
this. At
He
first, I
doesn't
was
want
like,
to talk about it.
well, at first I was like, oh, that's right. He wasn't in fucking prison. Narkina 5.
For a
he
year.
just
That's
meant,
way
he
worse
meant,
than
he
this.
meant this small of a cell.
Oh, he did have a pretty nice room.
He's
like-
like getting a very significant line where Donnie Yen tells him, I feel that the prison you're in, you carry with you everywhere you go. And there's a very significant, they pan
And that's
in,
when
and Cassian kind of has this moment. Like,
and that's when Saw Gerrera starts calling him chronic depression.
Whiny bitch boy. Go back.
I 100% agree with you. But my thing is like, you do not get all of that in this movie alone. It comes from Andor as well. And that's, again, the reason why it just having a thing when it existed fell in my estimation a little bit.
To move forward, I think we get this is one of my favorite deliveries from Forrest Whitaker when he's arguing with Jen Erso about like she's like, you left me behind, I was 16, da da da. And it's like it's a nothing thing, but just the way he delivers the line, he's like, "You were the daughter of an Imperial science officer," and you can hear him running out of breath. Like, I don't know, he's getting so into it. He's like, "They were trying to use you." And that cough was real.
Right, like,
See, you make fun of a guy.
and for your Oscar consideration, people,
and he's
Um,
right. You're
Forrest
basically
Look,
Whitaker's
just
a
cut to a
treasure,
different
though.
take when I cough. It's fine.
Forrest Whitaker and anything you see him in, he's just great in anything. If you've never seen Ghost Dog is the shit.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's on,
but
it's
that's
on my
Jim Jarmusch.
Collection challenge for
Yeah,
Letterboxd.
Ghost Dog's great.
I'll
It's
watch it.
fantastic.
It's actually a spinoff of Ghost Dad.
It is a very bizarre spinoff of Ghost Dad. Some people say the two sequels are not like the sequel's not related to the original whatsoever.
Yeah.
Total lie.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
Ghost Dog and Ghost Dad, if you can see subtle
It's a ghost universe,
similarities
dude.
in both movies.
Does Forrest Whitaker give people drugs in their drinks?
If that does not happen in Ghost Dad,
in right now.
what you're thinking of is Ghosting Dad, and that's real Bill Cosby.
But Saw Gerrera is losing his shit, as we saw in Andor,
Yeah.
because he's talking to her about like, I was trying to protect you, whatever. He goes, "Wait, did they send you? They're
'Cause
everywhere."
It is a coincidence, though. Like,
Spies!
I got this message from
Deception!
this fucking. I got this message from this pilot from your dad, and then the same day you fucking show up. I'm a crazy person, in case you didn't know.
Yeah,
and
you
now
have to
I'm gonna
emphasize
shoot
how
everybody.
paranoid he is. He is so fucking paranoid.
That's how you
just
stay
coming
alive
from him
this
at all
long.
sides. Yeah.
But this makes that scene in Andor more powerful too, because I hadn't watched this in a while when we saw that. So when he's talking to Luthen and he's like, "You're a fucking traitor too.
Yep. Spies.
I know you're lying, deceptioning."
Which makes this movie a little less good after watching that show.
But that show is built off of what was established here.
right. But,
So they didn't know how cool Cassian Andor was until they were like, let's make a show about him and make him fucking cool.
sure, but if you didn't have the guy that made that show involved and not doing the whole thing, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying I hate this movie.
I've heard this recently referenced. Actor who plays Mandalorian.
Pedro Pascal.
Do you feel that what's his face who plays Cassian is like a dollar store Pedro Pascal?
No.
Because I've heard this reference and I like
Diego Luna.
not until today when I watched it with it's Diego Luna, right?
I knew
Yes.
Diego
Diego
Luna
Luna,
first.
yeah.
Okay, so that's
Yeah,
the thing. Like
that's what I'm saying.
I knew Diego Luna first, but like I watched it today for the first time and I was like, I started making comparisons. I was like, oh, I fucking kind of
Well,
see how they're similar.
I mean,
though.
I can see why
Similar,
people
sure,
would say
but
that.
very,
I don't
very-
agree. I can see why people would say that though,
Yeah.
because Pedro Pascal has more charisma on screen. Like Diego Luna is great, but Pedro Pascal just saying hello is a lot of charisma. So he just comes across as a bigger
what
movie
a charming
star.
man.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and
He's done
Diego-
more American movies for sure.
And Diego Luna is more of the dramatic actor. He's got the skills,
Well,
but
Yi Tu Mama Yi También.
Yeah,
Like,
Yi Tu
that's
Mama
the
También.
movie I always knew him from.
yeah.
So.
But I think when people say that, it's fucking racism. That's all I'm saying.
But they're both
Sorry, they're both
Spanish
American
of some
myself.
descent.
Yi Tu Mama
Yi
Yi
Tu Mama.
También.
I'm Cletus Mickelson. I love that movie.
I love Y2 Mama También.
Y2 Mama. Y2 Mama. That's what it is.
You Tu Mama.
Your
Ye-
two mamas, two
Why Tu
ambience.
Mama
You're
También.
two mamas with two
Why
ambience.
Your
two
two
mama.
mamas, two ambience.
I watched it because I thought it was a Y2K movie, but then I found out it was about your mama.
Now we're back to Ghost Dad. Your two mamas, two ambience.
And fucking Matt Mickelson is at this barbecue. This family bar. He's like, "Can we please leave? Can we please leave? Jesus fucking Christ!"
I am so ashamed.
Cletus Mickelson is. I'm ashamed. Why the fuck did we come to this birthday party, this family reunion in North Carolina? Even I don't have. How do I have family members in North Carolina?
But so they find Riz Ahmed in the cell next to them. He's kind of crazy. We talked about
Yeah,
that.
they bring him back with the safe word.
Pilot.
Ooh.
And we do find out that Galen had stayed behind, as like we said, to he knew that he didn't have a choice. He was either going to help them or die, and by helping them, he could implant a weakness. And I mean, as much as I do love this movie, I do think this is kind of silly. It's like I implanted like we talked about earlier, I implanted the weakness. It's this little tiny hole, and you have to shoot it. But like,
Well, he
He
implanted the
emphasizes
fact
it
that if
has
you
to be
shot
so small.
No, but he implants the fact that if you shoot there, it causes chain
because
reaction.
if he was a real Imperial science officer, he would have put like a shield around the reactor or
this
something.
movie exists
you
to
know.
retcon the fact that everyone's like, ugh, what a stupid plot device from episode 4.
I do agree.
And it's not a stupid plot device as soon as they explain it.
Well,
I
also
never thought
this
it was
movie. This movie also Han Solo's a little bit too, or Solo, a Star Wars story, because at the end we have Red 5 and he gets shot down, and they're like, "Well, we got to give that name to someone else."
Yeah.
Luke
Who's going
Skywalker.
to ever be Red 5?
Here's the thing. I never thought that was a plot hole in the original Star Wars.
I didn't care in the
yeah, right.
original.
The
Like,
reason why you have Gold Leader and Red Leader involved in this movie, by the way, is because while they were doing this, they were able to pull out archive footage.
Yes.
'cause
well, they
Disney
found a
had-
bunch of unused
Disney
footage.
had
Yeah,
obtained all this shit.
and also they have Blue Squadron, which wasn't in the original, and that's because it was supposed to be Blue Squadron, but they were using blue screen technology for the miniatures.
Blue don't show up.
I
so it became
just
Red
told
Squadron.
Jack this
Yeah.
earlier, and it's also why Blue Squadron is completely wiped the fuck out in this movie because it explains why they're not in the fucking next
Guess
movie.
who can't make it to the episode
Well, it also
4?
explains why they only sent like 30 pilots in the next movie because all the rest of them is dead.
Yeah.
Dead
But also, if you have those, like, if you have that film that you found in the basement, why the fuck don't we have original Star Wars in 4K without the special edition bullshit?
George Lucas
Because George
won't allow
Lucas
it. I'm not
refuses.
even going to get into this shit because it's going to take another 3 hours for us.
But
to
you know
sit and
what?
fight
Some
about
people
it.
do have the original Star Wars in 4K.
That's right.
Oh,
we talked
um,
about this before.
I do.
Hands up.
I
Hands
watched. I watched some of it earlier, and let me tell you, I would just prefer that all of you. Well,
No, we were watching the special.
we were watching a special.
Yeah, we were
Oh,
Oh,
watching
you,
it.
got, you,
You
you have
presented
the
me with
discs
it.
and you watched it on Disney?
I
still?
didn't want to get up.
We actually so
I've never related to a friend of mine more.
and like the shit that is in the new edition, like it does piss you off.
It hurts.
It just does piss you
The
off.
worst of the 3 is that first one, which makes it harder. Like as far as egregious shit that they changed. But so from the hologram here, she finds out that the MacGuffin is on Scarif, so they have to get to Scarif, which it's a stupid side story, and we probably don't have time because we're going long anyway. But I'm going to tell it. Gareth Edwards has said that he came up with the name of Scarif because he went to Starbucks while they were working on this movie.
Oh, I have heard this.
He got his drink, and as everybody knows, Starbucks people don't have ears, so they can't write the correct name on a cup. He got his cup, and it said Scareth
Oh,
instead
no.
of Gareth, and he was like, "That sounds Star Warsy."
I like it.
You know what?
I've
I've
also
heard-
heard the theory that it's based off some like agency. Like,
Well, there's
they
also
either-
the
yeah.
skiff, which is like
Yeah, the
the something intelligence something, but he literally said, he's like, oh, I got this cup. It said Scarif, and I thought it was funny.
I used to believe with all my heart that Starbucks would only get black and brown people's names wrong so they wouldn't come back. But I've heard so many stories. I'm like, oh, they do it to white people too.
They do it to
idiots. They're
everybody,
idiots.
yeah.
I've had my name misspelled.
Yeah.
Jakk. I'm like, Jack.
I think they do the misspelling on
You,
purpose.
you get a
at this
cup of
point, and I'm okay with it.
JAKKU. I'm not a planet.
Jakku. That's pretty cool, man. Sounds like Star Wars shit.
Oh, wait, it is.
I mean, maybe if you would stop naming children named Ashley with 3 S's and 6 H's and 2 E's,
You know, 3
then
Ys.
they wouldn't do this shit.
How am I gonna
Okay,
know,
Boomer, calm down.
How am I
G
going to
is
know who to
silent.
hate?
Okay, Boomer.
Okay, Boomer.
Okay, Boomer.
We just watched.
We just watched it.
We just watched an SNL skit with Adam Driver as Kylo Ren as
That's why when
undercover
he said
boss.
it,
Oh,
like-
I've seen that, and I fucking love that
Okay,
shit.
Boomer.
Okay, Boomer. That's why I said.
I want to fly like
okay.
Luke Skywalker. Then you'll die like Luke Skywalker.
That's one of the funniest things SNL has done since the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you okay,
yeah.
Boomer, and me, and I killed you in my mind and said, "Okay, Boomer."
There's that. There's Black Jeopardy with Tom Hanks
Hanks.
specifically, and then there's the Kate McKinnon alien abduction thing.
Oh,
With,
So I'm sitting there with my cooter, my
Oh,
pooter.
fucking Kate McKinnon in that shit.
so the Death Star wipes out Jeddah City, and I like the. It doesn't make sense, but Star Wars, so it's fine. They blow up the city, and this explosion very slowly moves toward Saw's base.
It ignited the liquid hot magma
Okay, so,
under
yeah,
the crust.
That's where the laser sharks are.
So I
Yeah.
tried to apply
It's
some
fine.
science to this. Actually, I did my little bit of due diligence on this. So what I figured is that the beam strikes directly to the core of the Earth, okay, and creates this like huge like earthquake the size of like we've never experienced like a what 10.0 or whatever.
Yeah.
So we can't imagine what this power would.
But that
be.
would be like if it was destroying the whole planet. They just targeted Jeddah City.
But they
I'm
only
going to cut
used,
you off right there. The shot is cooler than the science, or more important.
and that's
than
what I'm saying. It
science.
doesn't
agree.
matter. It
That's-
just
agree.
it's just
But
it's
Jack and I summed it up very easily earlier, where we're like they only used
It's one core
one
or one
core.
reactor.
okay, but they
Right.
did
One
the same
reactor instead of
thing. They
6.
do the same thing later on Scarif.
Yeah.
And the explosion there, which misses the base entirely, gets to Scarif a lot quicker. And Scarif is closer to where they shot based on the space shot that they give us
Yeah.
than Jeddah City is to Scarif is further.
I see what you're saying, but it's fine.
Then make it all the way down off of that tower and then out into the to the sea to watch it come forward. I think it
Doesn't matter. I'm nitpicking because other than Mr. Classy who's here with us, we've all been pretty much gushing. So I got to nitpick something.
Yeah.
Water,
Thank you,
water
Derek.
versus
Thank you,
dirt,
Derek.
dude. Water versus dirt.
Water
It's a
versus
ba-
What
it's
I-
a-
what I
a
really-
battle as old as time.
What I really like is that it hits the surface and doesn't blow up the planet because it's like Jason Isaacs in Armageddon. Like, oh, if you blow a firecracker in your hand, you burn your hand. But if you close your hand on the firecracker, oh, your wife is opening your ketchup bottle for the rest of your life.
because it
Good
has
line.
one of the greatest lines where K2 calls in and goes, "There's a problem on the horizon. There is no horizon."
That's
Yeah.
a great
Which
line.
is
That's a great
a
line.
fucking great
Also,
line.
based entirely on the line you just did, Classy, you're welcome back when we do Armageddon.
Ah, fuck yeah.
For sure.
We do one Michael Bay movie every April. 1 year we did 4 Michael Bay movies. We'll never do that again.
1 year. 1 year. Wasn't tough enough to
we
repeat.
we all almost gave up, and that was
Yeah.
our first year.
It's on my calendar right now.
But so Tarkin takes over the Death Star from Krennic. He's like, "I'm the boss now.
Look at
I'm
me.
the captain
Look
now."
at me. I'm the Moff now. He might not be Grand Moff here.
Oh, wait. Also, I got to say, when Tarkin
he's Grand
turns-
Moff in 5 minutes from now in Episode 4.
Is
They're
he
40
still?
years
okay,
ago.
yeah, I guess he is.
Right,
So
so-
Find this over the
Because
light
he's
speed. That's a
general
muffin.
in this one, don't they? General.
I think they might say General. So
I
he
think
got
they call him
promoted
General
in
here.
the 8 minutes between when this movie ends and the next movie
right
starts.
after, yeah, he gets so he's Grand Moff for like 3 seconds.
When an entire fucking planet of their underlings dies, he's got to move up. No.
Who's
How many
not here
people did-
anymore?
How many people did you kill? 14 million. All right, you're a Grand Moff. Cool.
You're not just a Moff. You're a Grand Moff.
What the fuck is a Moff? Yeah, it's a thing, you know.
It's what Giancarlo Esposito is. That's all I know, and I want to be it. So
When Tarkin turns around, cartoon Tarkin turns around, and the back of his head with the bald spot in the hair, that looks fucking terrible,
Yeah.
dude. At that point, just get a guy with hair that looks like that. With a
well,
bald
I remember
spot.
and they
Avengers-
had an
You know
actor.
what? Here's something crazy.
I know they did. Go
So
for it. Yeah.
the actor who plays
Yeah.
his body double because they had to place all the AI over a body.
I know there was a guy that
It
did
is an actor who plays Sherlock, a younger version of Sherlock Holmes, and the reason why he is one of the most popular, adaptions of Sherlock Holmes is because he based his whole thing off of
Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing.
Oh,
So this guy has
That's
played
why he
Peter
was
Cushing
picked
twice
out
in his life.
to be Peter Cushing's body double.
And
No, I remember
for a
looking
second,
good in theaters.
indulge
Once
me for a
again,
second.
it's dope.
Peter Cushing was fucking 90 when he did
Indulge you for
Star
a second.
Wars.
There is now a reason why you should never fucking do this dead people AI bullshit CGI thing, and it is Doctor Sleep.
But this was the
Dr.
beginning of
Sleep.
it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
but-
Doctor Sleep.
Oh,
I read
dude,
it. It was
they
great.
recast everybody from The Shining. They recast fucking Shelley Duvall. They recast and Jack Nicholson, and it fucking worked beautifully. That movie should have ended this fucking bullshit that started with cartoon Cushing.
Well, this is just Disney doesn't want to
It
recast.
started with Back to the Future too.
They're scared.
Well, yeah, that's right. But even that was all makeup. That
They
was
got
makeup, so-
sued over that shit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this
But
was
for good
the
reason.
beginning. We don't forget
Yes.
this is the beginning of AI. This is the very beginning of what they could do, and we've watched it progress now to what it is.
And it's
I mean,
still
this
trash.
isn't- this isn't the
Now
very
They
beginning.
would look exactly like they were supposed
This
to
isn't the
look.
very
No,
beginning.
no,
The
it's
first
still
one
trash.
that I can think of that I saw was Tron Legacy. Is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
Tron Legacy did do
Was
this too.
Jeff
hold on,
Bridges,
right.
but that was okay because he looks like a cartoon character,
the
but he's
first place.
also in a cartoon
That's what I'm
machine.
saying, 'cause
He's
it's-
in a video
yeah.
game.
There's a difference though.
But yeah,
When they de-age actors, actual actors, who like Kurt Russell in Guardians of the Willicksons or whatever, they de-age RDJ and whatever the fuck,
Guardians of the Willicksons.
they de-age these actors who are on fucking set, and they bring back these fuckers from the dead. Alien Romulus, fucking Cobra Kai brought back a fucking Mr. Miyagi from the dead in the last season.
we haven't
They-
watched the last season yet.
No,
Thanks,
it's well, sorry to spoil it, but no, it should be spoiled because
No, I can't watch any of it.
Yeah, so no, it sucks shit.
I will say in this movie we have Tarkin and Leia, which we mentioned.
Leia
them,
looks
recast
awful.
them.
Leia, though, Carrie Fisher was still alive, and she gave them full blessing to do it. And apparently, the anecdote of it is, whether it's true or not, we can't check because she died weeks after this came out, is that she saw this in theaters
And died.
and she was insanely happy with seeing younger Leia on the screen.
Nice. All right. Well, if that is true, that's cool.
When I saw this in theaters, I thought Tarkin looked fine. I thought Leia looked like shit. But
Yeah, Leia looks
So
like
we get
shit and
to-
Tarkin looks good. Yeah.
we get to Edu, whatever the fuck it's called. EADU.
They call it Edu.
Okay, I already forgotten what they said in my head. I have words in front of me that I wrote, and actually, my phone auto corrected it to endurance. So I'm really glad I could even remember Edu.
That's the planet name.
Who takes Kay Fish's sight and who works every Oscar night? Edu.
Edu. Who makes Steve Gutenberg a star? Edu.
Keep
Should
going.
have had video
Sorry.
for that.
I'm sorry I did this.
We
I'm
should have done
sorry.
video just for that
Should have had
alone.
video for that.
Classy alcoholic in a fucking luchador mask dancing around.
Who makes who
So-
makes Grand Moff Tarkin a cartoon? We do. We do.
So we crash land on Edu, and the rebels are sending a squadron in because they don't get any communications. They're like, well, they're fucking dead. Let's just kill it. Which begs the question, why didn't they just do this before?
Yeah.
That's my biggest question about this whole thing, because this is a very successful. I mean, sure, everybody dies.
Maybe they didn't know where it was, or like where
Okay.
the meeting, or like
Oh,
where
but
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
specifically.
All right,
No, they
all right.
got some inside info on where they were going.
Because as
All
soon
right,
as they
that's
find
fair.
it, they're like, all right, now we can fuck him up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Because I
Okay.
don't think he hesitates that long to order the bombers. He's like, oh, wait, Edu? Done.
yeah,
Well, it's
no.
like Edu, we lost comms. Send them.
There's
So that's fair.
So
All
many
right.
fucking planets and moons, man. Like that.
Yeah.
Kick such a-
I know. That's how the rebellion fucking.
Just bomb them all. Oh wait, no, that's the
Oh,
Empire.
God.
Never mind. So they crash land. Andor and Bodhi go in. Andor's like, "You got to stay behind because something. You're a woman. I don't know." And like,
I'm better by myself.
but
Come on,
it's
Bodhi.
funny how quickly it happens because Andor and Bodhi go in, and then immediately, because Donnie Yen says the Force moves darkly around
He had a
creatures that are about
murderous
to kill,
intent about him.
and so Jin follows him, and then Donnie Yen and Baze
Mhm.
are like, "We're gonna follow her."
Yeah.
And K2 is just back there like, I'm leaving everybody when Andor gets
if he
here.
gets back, if Andor gets back, I'm fucking gone. I barely like any of you. I
But
love him.
It's funny that it's just so quick. It's like, we're going to go without you. Yeah, I'm going.
He's
Yeah.
the worst friend that drives everybody to a party when everybody gets drunk. The worst DD.
Hey, look, I've been a pretty good DD, and this is me. I'm like, well, the person I brought came.
Do you know what sucks?
Those
about
other
being-
people he promised rides, they're still inside.
Yeah, you know what
That's
sucks
their
about being a
problem.
DD is all the drunk people. I'm with Kay.
We get up there. Krennic has arrived in his super cool little Krennic ship,
Yeah.
and basically he's like, bring out all the engineers, and they don't say it, but it looks to me like all these engineers are conscripted people because they all come out like cowering.
Oh, everybody here's against their will in
Much
some
like,
capacity.
much like
Maybe you joined up, but they're like, nah, you can't go home.
Well, much like Narkina 5 is what I'm thinking. Like, there's the doctor who's like, sure, I'm a doctor and I'll help you, but I'm also a prisoner, so what the fuck am I gonna do?
I think it's it could be bigger than that or just that.
But he's like, well, one of you betrayed the Empire, step forward. Nobody does. Kill them all. So Mads Mikkelsen,
Krennic is raw.
sexy Mads
Mads
Mikkelsen.
Mikkelsen.
I
Krennic,
apologize.
Krennic is raw, and yes, sexy Mads Mikkelsen.
And he's wet and sexy in his
Yeah,
scene
wet-
too.
wet and
He's
sexy,
getting
yeah.
wet again.
I'm wet for Matt.
And he
Mikkelsen
steps
right now.
out and he's just like,
he just
nope.
looks over at Krennic. I wish I could quit you.
It was me, not them. And Krennic's like, oh, cool. Kill them all anyway. And slap the fuck out of Mads Mikkelsen.
Because he knows
Open
that's
palm
what's gonna
slap.
hurt. It's what's gonna hurt him the most.
But
Yeah.
also though, when in terms of actors, Mads Mikkelsen could crush the fuck out of
Oh, yeah,
Ben Mendelsohn.
dude.
He could bane his ass on his knee.
Yeah.
Well,
That
it
would not
turns
happen.
out like
These purge troopers would get him, but
Andor has him in his crosshairs, and it turns out he could have just shot him, and it would have made no difference to this movie. Because
except for character development.
yeah,
But again, he should have brought him in and fucking tortured him.
Mm-hmm.
but Jin
And
is up
asked
on
about this
This is where
weapon.
Keenan Ivory Waynes rolls across the scene and goes,
message.
"Message."
Nice.
But so Jin is up there, so Andor's like, "Don't fucking bomb the platform." Well, too late. They're already there.
They're already engaged. I can't tell. There's no way they could stop.
Yeah, they haven't pushed the button yet, but I mean, they're pretty close.
He's got him in his sights. You want me to tell him to have him out of his sights?
But
So-
but once again, this is where we all have all the callbacks to the Force unfolds, how it should, and trust the Force and the greater cause. and
Oh,
the great-
watching Danny Yen take out a fucking TIE fighter with a
Oh,
bowcaster
we
is
love watching Donnie Yen
fucking
do
awesome.
shoot things.
I do
This is
like
where
watching
we
him shoot
start to
things
get
Yeah, I
to
do.
because the
the
bowcaster takes
action is going to be fucking sick in this movie.
real quick. Just classy, calm down, because the bowcaster takes more skill than a blaster.
Yeah.
Fair, not as much skill as he has in fucking
Because-
his line of duty
Because
4.
he's a people human, not a Wookiee. These are very powerful weapons. Anyway,
he's not wrong. He is a people
Fine.
human.
Fine.
By the way, Chewie's kind of a pussy.
excuse the
about this
fuck
later.
out of you.
Hold on, keep talking. Hold
We'll
on.
talk
hold-
about this
Here,
later.
let him go. Let him go. Keep
You
talking.
know
Keep
what?
talking,
Put on
keep
the
talking.
hold music, future me who's editing this.
Everybody let Brandon talk right now.
discussed this earlier
Everybody shut the
briefly.
fuck up.
I didn't say he was a pussy. I said he's a runt for a
He's
Wookiee.
and I said he's kind of a pussy. I said that.
Why? What?
Because
Shut
All
up.
the
Everybody shut
other-
up. Everybody shut up.
all the other Wookiees and like all the other Star Lore, like just all this like tough ass shit. And we were watching New Hope earlier, and he's like clawing at the door, like he's just like he's not doing anything to help the
It's a
situation.
magnetically
Help me,
sealed
help
trash
me.
compactor.
Yeah.
What can he do? It's fucking magnetically sealed. You don't know what that means?
Hans is like he's trying to like.
I
don't know,
love
like,
how quickly Derek jumped on my side. Anyway, go.
I love Chewbacca. So him saying negative things means he should
19-hour
die.
podcast.
I'm neutral here. I'm still like I'm intrigued. Let's hear more.
I do like though with Donnie Yen using his bowcaster that he takes out a fucking TIE fighter.
It's dope.
We haven't seen anybody take out a flying ship from the ground with a normal gun other than, well, it wasn't even a gun. Obi-Wan, what's her name, does it though. She takes out a ship.
Ray?
No, Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Riva?
yeah, she takes out a ship.
Because Ray does take
She
one
also
out in
just throws a
episode
coffee
9.
can at it. So,
Yeah.
but this is like one of the first. This
But
is
this
probably
guy's
the first
blind.
time we've seen a blind dude with a bow and arrow take out a fucking TIE fighter.
It's-
Actual Donnie Yen could take out a TIE fighter with his bare hands. Just saying.
It's well, of course, if he had bare hands, that's cheating.
Yeah, in Hong
Well,
Kong.
yeah, he's got bare hands.
He should try human hands.
I'm Donnie Yen. Roar. Roar.
But so Jin is saved from dying because the
Force.
rebels shoot this fucking base or the launch
Platform.
pad. I'm getting a little drunk, guys.
The platform.
Yes.
Stop drinking 13.7% beers.
Look, this one's not 13.7. It's only
12.7.
Yeah.
I know what you're drinking.
He's one with the Force, and the Force is with
Fine.
him.
I'll
Yeah,
just drink
come on,
this
man.
whiskey.
This is
instead.
Derek tonight when he goes to bed. I'm one with the floor. The floor is with me. I'm one with the floor. The floor is.
Salute to
I am
Derek.
one with the floor. The floor has whiskey, cinnamon whiskey.
You just killed me.
Oh my God.
I
new
coughed
host
harder
is-
than doing a fucking
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker impersonation.
Jack is the new host of the Hunt Took Shots First because Derek Afolder is dead.
Yeah, I'm here to see the doctor. What seems to be the problem? All of it. My thighs. My erection.
My rectum.
My thighs, my rectum.
Rectum. Damn near killed him.
My lymph nodes.
But so Krennic gets the fuck out of there.
I know this could have been done. I'm glad the movie's not over, but like you could have been done. You fucking rebels just almost bombed the guy you needed to.
I mean, it would have made the end of the movie go a little bit quicker. Not much.
Sure.
Not much.
But this guy just keeps getting away, dude. He gets winged in the fucking beginning, and now he gets fucking blown away, and he's back up.
He's the 80s villain from every movie you've ever watched.
Well,
He just keeps getting away until the very end when he gets what he deserves.
and Jen Erso goes to talk to sexy Matt Nicholson, and he sexily dies.
Thank you.
Andor saves her. The ship shows up and saves them. And then somebody else comes and saves them. It's all fine. It's a Russian nesting doll of people being saved.
They'd change ships now, didn't they?
Yeah, they had to steal a ship because they crashed the other one.
Yeah.
Imperial ship.
Bodhi shoots these dudes, and that's when K2SO is like, "Hey, good job. You're a rebel now, motherfucker.
Yeah.
How's
Great
it feel?"
line. Great line.
I like it.
Delivery, Yeah.
So they extract everybody.
You're a
out of
rebel
there.
now.
And Bodhi doesn't
Um,
really react to it, which is cool. She's kind of like, yeah, I always was, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool.
Well, he's just kind of like, "Oh, I guess it counts now."
yeah,
'cause I
like,
definitely
cool,
killed
whatever.
people.
Yeah, I have been.
I mean, there's the initiation. Yeah.
You got to kill somebody to be initiated into the gang. On the ship, Jin confronts Andor. She's like, "Dude, you were gonna kill my dad," and he's like, "Yeah, but did I?" Which is a good point.
I like he denies it at first though. He's like, you're in shock. You're looking for somewhere. Deny it then. Hey, look, I'm not talking. I didn't kill him.
He is trying to gaslight a woman. It's like, yeah, you're in shock. You don't know what you're talking about.
Calm down. You're
I had the
hysterical.
shot.
You're
He says I had the
hysterical.
shot. I didn't fucking take it. So what proof? More proof do you
Well,
need?
and I like she goes like kind of Reddit on him because she's like, "Well, I guess you're basically a stormtrooper because you just follow rules."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you
You white booted thug.
know.
He's not white. He's Mexican. He's brown.
But the
And then-
stormtroopers are white boots.
This is fun. This is one of those
Oh.
ones that was funny to me because he's like, "Oh, suddenly the rebellion is real for you. Some of us live it," and I'm like, "Dude, 4 years ago, you
Calm.
barely gave a shit."
Yeah, calm down. I think he just like if
he's
I'm
been
taking it,
involved with the rebellion since he was 6.
I think he just means his
Okay,
fight
bro.
against the Empire.
Yeah, he was definitely on a planet where the Empire went to when he was 6, so he might as well have been fighting.
I
them.
was cooking food.
They took his
but he
parents
got
away.
but he got saved by the lizard woman from Super Mario Brothers. So
Excuse me.
I guess the one thing to be said, like when I was
Fiona
sick,
Shaw.
I hated those fuckers. As opposed to you were kidding me, like, oh, fascism is cool, and now you're like 30, and you're like, oh no, that was bad. Oh my, youth.
It would be really depressing, but I would also pay money to hear a little kid be like, "Fascism is cool."
So cool. I love the and then he's like, oh man, because you're like, oh fuck, I was such a dumb baby. Shit.
I have the
Ugh.
smelliest stink face on my face right now. I just fucking hate everything going on right now.
I hate the space crow, whatever
Hate
that
this
is.
conversation.
Jack, what's a crow?
So-
That's like it's Star Wars.
Mynock.
Yeah, I hate Mynock.
Oh, those are the things that go on the But so Krennic goes to Darth Vader's castle, which will never stop being a funny thing that I've said.
Vader's
like,
castle.
I get that it's
Mustafar?
supposed to be intimidating. It's on Mustafar.
and if it was if we lived in this universe, it would be terrifying.
It's just
But from
funny that
our-
it's Darth Vader's castle. No one else in this entire series has a castle.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that at all.
They have space stations. They have
That's true.
towers.
yeah.
This
But this is
motherfucker-
where
okay,
He's got a castle that looks like a tuning
he
fork.
has a castle
It wasn't
on a
his
planet
choice.
that causes him the same lung problems that he is fucking so like mad about.
It wasn't his
like,
choice.
I actually read. So we've talked before about Darth Vader being in the back to tank all the time,
Mhm.
and I was like, it doesn't seem to be helping anything. Apparently, the goal was to fix his lung issues from
Yeah,
being so close to the
because
lava.
Yes!
a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff
Well,
like
also,
you
you
couldn't
can just stay
you
away
couldn't it can't regrow limbs. Like Bacta has a fucking a finite amount of things it can do.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like I'm allergic to every fucking tree in Arizona, and I still live here. I've been living here for like 20 years.
Yeah, the emperor chose Mustafar to keep him in a constant sense of pain
Okay.
and neglect and regret.
I guess
To
that makes
keep him
sense.
under
to,
his thumb.
to
Yeah.
remind him how shitty
Yeah.
everything is.
Oh,
You're
I
a
thought
bad dog.
I thought he chose it because he was like memories.
No,
I like
it's
thinking
a-
about my
Scatter
buddy Ewan
pictures on the
McGregor.
walls.
And then Jude Law shows up. He's like, me too, eh?
We were roommates.
We jerked each other off in college. What was that? We were roommates in college. Darth Vader's like, hey, you fucked up. Like your Death Star, quote
Yeah.
unquote, has just been causing problems so far. And he's like, look, you go tell the Emperor I'm doing a good job, and I'm gonna. You said I'm still boss, right? And
Uh-huh.
that I love this line. Darth Vader fucking choking him out, and he's like, do not choke on your aspirations.
Love it.
Dude, that is a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liner if
It
I've
is,
ever
it
heard
is.
one.
I like
Because
it, I like
Anakin, before he was Vader, was a cheeky little shithead.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, that part of you's not gone.
No, yeah. Anakin watched a whole bunch of whatever their version of the 80s action movies is. He's like, well, I'm an evil guy now. I better get one-liners ready.
You love those movies from 10 BBY, don't you?
He choked somebody, and he was like, don't choke on your ass. I'm going to save that one.
This
I
is,
love that.
I got it.
this
I
is
got
the only
it.
time he's ever used that line in like. Usually he just chokes the fuck out of people and walks away.
I
And it,
disagree. I think he does it every time he kills somebody because it's a new audience every time.
Right,
Everyone
that's
dies.
true. You never know. Yeah.
Well, you don't
Everyone
see it in the
dies.
movies because he turns
Yeah,
off
we've
his
never seen it in the
microphone.
movies before. Yeah, so this is
He
the first
turns it
time we
off
see
and he just
him.
says it in his helmet, like, don't choke on your aspirations.
Oh.
But he's like, I don't want to make everybody else in the room laugh.
Bro, I
Turn
love
it
that.
back on.
I love that Arnold Sebulba movie.
Ichuta.
Ichuta, get to the pod.
Get to the ball. Get to the ball, Dresa.
Slimo.
My friend is dead tired.
We've come
That's
up
not
with
a Star
3
Wars
spin-off
thing, but
movies
it's
so
good.
far that I would watch. I'm just putting it out there.
Arnold Schwarzenegger walking around on his hands with his
I
legs
would
in the
watch
air.
the fuck
Love.
He could do it. He could literally do
I
it.
am fucking
If
in.
anyone
Let's
could
go.
do that, it would be him. It's not a tumor. It's a bunch of midichlorians. I'm a Jedi, you idiot.
Who is your master and what does he do?
Get to the Lambda shuttle. He does fight an alien in Predator.
Yeah.
He does,
So,
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so we get back
you
to
are
the rebellion.
one ugly mother Twi'lek.
Twi'leks are beautiful.
I
though.
know they are. Except the men. Bib Fortuna, not for me.
So we get back to Yavin 4. There's a debate with the rebellion. It's Mon Mothma and Bail
Put that
Organa.
kyber crystal down. Sorry, I'm done.
This little short guy, Pow. Is that what you said his
Pow.
name was?
And then there's Jan Dodonna.
And you know what? I all I could think during this whole scene was people love this movie, but I see a black woman. I see like a very Middle Eastern looking man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see many different like as the actual council, and in the
Uh-huh.
background, all kinds of races, creeds, colors.
But they didn't have 2 chicks kissing, man.
No one seemed to care, but I guess it's because there's no.
2 chicks ain't kissing.
They
man.
didn't confirm that any of them were lesbians.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's a valid point, though.
because like these internet people just complain so much about like everybody should be white and male. That's not what they say, but
Hey,
that's what they're saying.
Clickety clack, at least they didn't have any lines, you know?
Dude, like,
I
again,
feel like
that
Star
black
Wars has
woman-
always
that
kinda
black woman
been
had a
that,
lot of
like,
lines.
unspoken, like, hey, like, like all these like little alien racists and all these people combined.
Well,
like,
and that's what it should
yeah.
be, but the internet doesn't seem to understand that everybody can have power, not only if they're white and male.
dude, indulge me again because I remember I had Instagram followers. There was some white guys from Phoenix that were in the craft beer scene, but they had like a movie podcast. And I remember seeing a thing. They probably don't exist anymore or are dead now. Thank God. No, they were
One could
talking
only
about
hope.
Rise of Skywalker, and they were
They're
putting,
not dead. They just got arrested on January 6th.
Yeah. No, they put out a promo on Instagram talking about Rise of Skywalker, and the 2 guys were like, "This is what their promo is like." And at the end of it, like at the end, they had 2 women kiss, and another guy goes, "In a kids movie, yeah, in a kids movie. Why is then there get it the fuck out of there. And I was like, unfollow, suck my dick.
Yeah.
Like,
It's okay if
Bro.
straight people kiss. If gay people
Shut the
kiss, it's not
fuck
appropriate
up.
for children.
The only men that kissed during this movie
Satire.
were me and the stranger next to me when I saw it in the theater, and it ended, and I was so excited.
Oh, you guys only
I
kissed?
embraced this man and shoved my tongue down his throat, and he returned in favor.
You guys only kissed? I jerked the guy off next to me.
And then I looked over and said, "Hey, Dad, it's good to see you."
I jerked off alone because of sexy Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Have we got a podcast for you?
Bad movies, worst people.
I mean, look, you like getting a couple beers in you, watching a bad movie, and yucking it up with your friends. That's what we're doing. We have microphones.
We have great impersonations. We have bad impersonations.
I think it might be one of the best podcasts I've ever heard.
It's the best podcast I've ever heard, fellas, and I ain't lying through my giant teeth.
There's a sample.
Yes.
You can find us anywhere. Badmoviesworstpeople.com. Come check us out.
If you don't follow us, we will follow you home.
Basically, all the rebels are like, let's fucking quit. This whole thing's blown up. Let's just go home and die.
Yeah.
And Jyn Erso, the one who didn't give a fuck 40 minutes ago or 14 and a half hours ago,
Well, now
based on
her-
our
now
podcast
her
time,
dad's dead.
is like, what? The line, hold on, I had it written down. She's like, what chance do we have? Because they're like, we have no chance. She's like, what choice do we have?
Yeah.
We have to fucking do this.
Because one of the senators, I think it's the black chick, she's like, if open war is what you want, then you're going to fight alone. What the fuck do you have a rebel alliance for then?
That was exactly. This is actually the one thing that pissed me off in the movie.
They're just trying to, it doesn't piss me off. It just like her character pissed me off because like you're just trying to posture. We'll attack you. We're not going to, but
Well, no,
we're
like,
going to pretend.
I'm saying like the plot. Like I'm not pissed at the movie itself. Like just the thing in the movie, there was like, I was sucked into the plot where I was like, dude, why would you like just like, all right, we've put this
Political.
much in, and now that we've got a little bit of like we have something.
It's
Let's
political
just fucking
standings.
cancel.
Yeah.
Like I that shit that irritated me.
Yeah.
Like so it was.
And it's Bail Organa who's like, you're going to throw away what took us forever to get together.
Yeah.
This is Felicity Jones' best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
She does a
Yeah.
great
I mean,
job in
she
this.
is the star of the movie, but she's honestly probably in the movie less than almost anybody else.
Yeah.
That's a main character.
Yeah.
This
But
scene,
that's
though,
because she's the one you can like relate to. She's a normal person who just doesn't get sucked into the shit, right? But this is where she gives it. She's like, hey, she gives the Andor line from earlier. She's like, because Mon Mothma says, you want us to do this based on nothing but hope? And she's like, dude, rebellions are built on hope.
I don't know who said that to me before, but
But this also takes it away from the council.
There
It takes
was
this-
somebody. It might have been. Was it Pedro Pascal?
he's in the background raising his hand. It was fucking me.
There was some ethnic man who said this earlier. Some brown man.
To me, it's just it kind of like it's taking the base of the story, which is it is the greater good. It's taking it
Greater
out of the
good.
power of like say the council's hands, and the council is like say the bigger power. So you're taking that out of their hands, and you're giving the organic. Like all these people are like, you know what? Fuck the council. We're gonna go and we're gonna stand by you. And we're gonna do this no matter what happens.
Well,
We know this is the
And that's
best
what
way to
happens.
do
and that's
this.
what happens. because, yeah,
Andor and all his like I guess like the foot soldiers and like as he even says like we're saboteurs, we're assassins, we're spies.
We've done some fucked up
We've
shit
done
for the
some fuck
rebellion.
we've done some fucked up shit.
all except
Y'all
for
going
K2,
for
who
redemption?
gets it because Cassius says he has to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there. Cassian said I had to.
But it is because Jyn goes to Bodhi and she's like, well, we're fucking doing it. Who gives a shit? And he's like, I think we're going to need more than like, I don't know, the four of us. And yeah, Andor shows up with a small army.
Baz says, "How many do you need?" And
Yeah.
points behind her, and she was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Oh shit! There's a lot.
Recognize
of people
Milchi?
here.
Yes.
Melchi-
Yeah, we have
oh.
Melchi come back or first show up.
First, yeah.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
But yeah, they all volunteer to help. And I do like we're going to jump ahead a little bit, but it comes down to like all these people just left. They just deserted to go
Uh-huh.
do this. But when they get the message and the rebellion's like, oh, fuck, it's working. All right, we're setting people in.
Yeah.
Nobody's in trouble. We're coming to help.
Our plan. I told him to go.
But this is the way shit works in real life anyway.
Absolutely.
Which, yeah.
Some brown guy said. Pedro Pascal said that.
Pretty sure the Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal said.
Which
Robert
which
Rodriguez
one?
said we should go.
Pedro Pascal or budget Pedro Pascal?
Freddie Prinze Sr.
Oh wow!
And also, Felicity Jones is a British,
If
so
the
she's
listeners don't know who Freddie Prinze Sr. is,
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't. Asked and answered.
He was kind of funny.
He was funny.
He's Freddie Prinze Jr.'s dad.
Yeah.
Who's less funny. When they're pulling away, though, this is when we get the thing that Brandon talked about earlier where they're calling, they're like, who's trying to depart? And Bodhi's
Rogue
like,
One.
Rogue?
I
One?
didn't
And
like
it
that at
sounds like
all.
John C. Riley. Oh, what's the name of your ship? Rogue One. There is no Rogue One. Like, I don't know if it was him. I tried to look it up, but like, because they always do these big actor cameos. Daniel Craig in
Daniel Craig
episode
was
7
Stormtrooper,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Tom Hardy was a stormtrooper.
Yeah, I couldn't find if it was or wasn't
I
him.
didn't like that, man. The point was
Jason
like
Sudeikis and someone else there.
Oh,
in
and
the
Mando,
Gareth
Mandalorian.
Edwards
yeah.
is the one that pulls the lever
The
at
lever,
the very end.
yeah.
I didn't like this. They were just like, well, we need to make sure we say the name of the movie. That again, I realized was based on the thing that the fucking studio was saying. And now I'm like, oh, that's the fucking cool part.
Maybe because Rogue One just sounded like a call sign right off the bat that I knew it was
I
going to be
think that
said.
it does. It sounds cool.
but
Rogue One sounds cool as fuck. It's
yes,
cool. It's
but it
cool.
should have been more set up. I'm like, I don't know. They could have called themselves like the Rogue Team when they were like, on the fucking on the comms.
We go to Scarif. Scarif has the
Oxygen
Spaceballs
bubble.
oxygen bubble around it, where you have to go. I mean, this is an energy shield, so it fits into Star Wars versus Spaceballs, which is just a big glass ball around a planet.
Which they, I don't know if this is a callback or not, but I really hope that it is because
I feel like it's got to be a reference. Like someone
It's
was like,
fantastic.
we'll give Mel Brooks
An
we'll give him a
attaboy.
little, we'll give him an
He
attaboy.
did have the most popular Star Wars movie for like a long time after Return of the Jedi. Like that shit was
Yeah,
like dead
yeah.
for a long time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure even after the prequels came out, Spaceballs was still more popular
Honestly,
With
More-
a-
maybe not more
adults.
watched, but more beloved.
with adults at least.
I
I
got that
can't
shit.
tell you how many times in a week I hear, "Man, I ain't found shit."
I ain't found shit. I saw a video online with that actor whose name escapes me right now. Apologies, I didn't do my research for this random thing I'm coming up. But he was on a bunch of like Deep Space Nine and stuff.
Oh,
And this video where he's playing with this little like Zen garden thing, the rocks and the little comb, little
Yeah.
rake. And he's just like, I've been in this, and I've been in this, and this, and there's all these big properties. And he's like, and still to this day, people see me on the street and they go, "Man, I ain't found shit."
I'm with my kids, man. Don't curse at me.
One of the greatest lines in cinema fucking ever.
I do like though when they're like, "We're gonna go in through this gate. We'll give them our fake passcodes." And like, well, what if they don't accept them? Well, then we're gonna die in the cold vacuum of space.
Not me.
Yep.
I can survive in space.
Just the dry. That's what makes him so funny because he's not saying it to be an asshole. He's just like,
Statement of facts.
excuse me, I'm not gonna die.
He
Yeah,
says
because-
because-
whatever
Statement of
tends to
facts.
come into his circuits.
Yeah, I'm a robot. Space don't
Well,
matter.
we know from Nick Nolte in Mandalorian that the droid acts like whoever engineered and imprinted him. So somebody just dry and cheeky was fucking reprogrammed this droid from Empire. I'm gonna make him super dry and sarcastic.
And there's
It's
so
gonna be
many
awesome.
dry, cheeky people in the Star Wars like universe that like, yeah, I see it.
I like the idea. There's just one guy that's like, who wants to talk to a robot?
Yeah.
Droids adapt to human nature, and almost everyone in the Star Wars universe is somewhat snarky. Therefore,
Oh, Steve Coogan. It was Steve Coogan's fucking robot. It was just like, yes, you're fucking sarcastic like me.
I do love Steve Coogan.
Steve Coogan's fantastic.
Jen Erso gives this little speech about how like Saw Gerrera always said, one person with a sharp stick with nothing to lose can win the day. So sure, there's like 14 of us,
But they all have a lot of sharp sticks.
but we don't have sharp sticks. We have guns. So
Yeah.
do not take this literally, folks.
just go for it.
But what does Cassian say? Nailed the line. Because he says, make 10 men feel like 100.
Yeah.
Was that from the show? Or did he say that in the show? Because when I
This is
watched
from The Art of War, technically.
No, yeah.
I don't think
No,
you said it in the show.
Because when I watched the movie, I was like, I know that line. Is it because I just watched Andor 3 times, or am I remembering this movie?
Or
Did
did
he
you
say
read
it?
The Art of War?
I did not do that.
No,
I don't
neither did
read
I.
books, stupid. But no, so
I'm not in the chess club anymore.
I don't
Yeah,
read
bitch.
books,
I used to read a bunch-
stupid.
Yeah, I used to read a bunch of books.
You idiot with your books.
Idiot. I used to read a bunch of books when I was a fucking smart baby.
With
Now
your
I'm a
words
drunk
on
fat piece of
paper.
shit.
Paper.
Paper.
No, but
Stuff
I-
a seal.
did he say that when he was escaping from the prison? I'm not kidding. Like
I don't. He.
God,
I feel like
I-
maybe you're right.
ugh.
He said something about
Yeah.
you're trying to
That
make
is-
these
that
small
exact line.
number of
That's
people
something like-
feel.
make 10 men feel like 100. When he said that, I was like, did I just see that in Andor?
I'll let
Maybe.
you know in April.
All right, cool.
When I
Yeah,
rewatch
yeah.
it. Season
no
1.
shit.
I'll let you know in like 48 hours when I rewatch that shit myself.
So we have Melshi, Baz, Chirrut, and Pow, who's the other little tiny weird looking dude, who are going to basically lead the assault. And this is where we have to kind of stop talking about what's happening because it's just action and it's worth watching.
It's
but
the
like,
crescendo of the fucking movie.
I do just want to mention like it seems like every situation they get into, where like there's stormtroopers flooding in, there's all these soldiers and they're hiding, guerrilla style.
And shore troopers.
George
Um,
Troopers, yeah, George Troopers.
Those are the ones in the brown, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to think while I was watching it. I was like, they have a different name.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Oh, I do want to call out right here, right before the action. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sam Witwer has a voice cameo.
Does he?
Yeah, you'll hear one of the troopers talking about like the
T16s are obsolete now.
The
Yeah,
The
T16s.
T15s. Because
Yeah,
in episode 4, when Obi-Wan is going in to pull the thing, you hear the guy's like, oh, the T16s are in commission now.
So
yeah.
the way they
Oh,
work
look,
this
he
out,
just clapped for a fucking bullshit fan service cameo. I'm going to point that out real quick.
That's
glad
deep
that
fan
Jack
service.
Noticed the thing I noticed.
That's
all it
deep
is.
fan
the
service.
way they proposed this whole battle to the studio was they took old pictures of World War II and
Yeah.
Vietnam in close quarters and photoshopped in helmets and X-wings, and Disney was so blown away by the pictures. They were like, just do what you have envisioned. And it was what we see.
And that's what it
which
feels
is
like.
one
This
of the
feels
coolest
like
Star Wars scenes
I'm
ever.
watching a World War II movie. This feels
Yeah.
like I'm watching
the Pacific.
You're in war. You're in war.
what's the one with the Saving Private Ryan, Dunkirk, all that stuff. It's like it's on the beach. We're running out and we're just getting mowed the fuck down. There's a big space battle here, which is really cool, but that's what we've seen.
Yeah.
This
Correct.
ground like beach assault, and I think that's part of it. Is it comes down to most of us. I mean, most people watching have probably seen at least one World War II documentary, if not hundreds of them
Mm-hmm.
or thousands, like Jack.
And
And-
I'm doing later.
Just the people, the beach, the water spraying up, the explosions. Just it feels like a real battle.
It does.
Like space battles feel intense. You get to see
They're
all the ships
fun.
flying, and it's fun.
Sound design's great,
but the ground, just the water and the trees.
At
falling
one point,
over
one
and
of
the
these X-Wings-
explosions.
it brings a realism to it because like ships are ships, but people are people.
Exactly.
And that's what brings the realism to like
ships are ships, people are people.
sacrifices are being made for the greater cause. It's just like
The
this
greater
is being
cause.
hammered into your head throughout the entire movie.
At one point, one of the X-wings crashes on the beach and like takes people out. Like it's
Oh.
like, just-
Both sides.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people that were just fighting there are
There
gone
were dead
now.
people on both sides.
Both sides.
guess and guess who was all
And when-
in
yeah, like I
charge
said,
of
we're not
the
gonna
She
talk
fight?
about the
literally calls
action.
in too, like we're going down, and like steers it into like that group of like stormtroopers.
And because it's been a while since I've watched this, there was one going down at the end, and I was like, "That's just going to crash into that tower."
Yeah.
she
That's what I
needs
thought.
that tower
She was gonna kamikaze herself. That's what I
because
thought.
everything
Yep.
has been bad for the good guys so
Yeah,
far. Like
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
they're like, we have a plan.
We need to dub.
Oh, something blew up.
But I need this.
Yeah.
And we need this tower. Oh, it blew up. But no, the person
the
misses
good guys
it.
at this point
And
know
I'm-
how valuable that tower is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that pilot purposely missed the tower
Yeah.
because they knew that they were trying to get.
Yes.
That was the
something
whole
up.
reason why they
without-
were doing what they were doing was to get that message out of that tower.
Without
Yeah.
getting too deep into the action, the two parts of this movie that move me the absolute most. There's three that really move me. One is the ending with Urso and Diego Luna staring out into their own death. K2SO's sacrifice,
Yeah.
where he's just like, I'm shutting the doors, fucking hits the console and pretty much gets killed right
And he's
there.
the first one to
Yeah.
fall, by the way. He's the
Moves
first one to fall,
me.
yeah.
Before we get to all the explosions, my favorite thing in Star Wars shows up twice. Mouse droids.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, was we hear them once, and then in another scene we see troopers running by, and the droids fall. I just fucking love mouse droids,
Love
and
a
I
mouse
don't know
droid.
why.
Cool. Good to know. The second scene that moves you is when you see Donnie Yen's character is being stared at by Baze as he knows it's over.
Yeah,
Like that is just moving.
dude, it just Donnie Yen walking out during like all this stuff's getting fired on. he's supposed to be connecting this thing to the ship to send up to the comms tower, et cetera, et cetera. They're locked. They're pinned down under fire. Donnie Yen's just like, fuck this, dude.
Watch this.
The Force is with me, and I won with the Force. Walks out there, flips that switch right before he gets obliterated.
Everything.
And yeah, like you said, Baze is watching him just get wiped out.
Everyone dies doing something cool and badass and useful, and Baze is like, I'm gonna like shoot 3 guys and get blowed up.
No, it was like 5 or 6.
I feel
No,
no,
it's a last stand moment. It's not meant to do. It doesn't really do anything, but it's him saying like, "This is my last stand."
Yeah.
Because my life partner has passed away.
So he still goes out like a fucking badass, like in the best way you can, which is like I'm taking out whoever I can with me.
2 dudes in his boat.
Yeah,
And he could have also kicked that fucking grenade. I don't know, man.
It's way more than 2
death
dudes.
is like
He
the
was
most boring
injured.
death of the movie.
I
He already knew
do,
it
I
was over
do,
at that point.
I do really like because they set these explosives on all the pads, the landing pads. I like the view from the
From Krennic's.
Imperial base,
Yeah.
from Krennic's
Oh, I
view.
love
Where they're
that
all
scene. I
blowing
love it.
up.
Each one blowing up along the way.
My favorite part was then, like, yeah, Krennic was looking at it, and everyone in the office was like,
Are you blind? Fucking deploy the garrisons, dude. We
Yeah.
are under attack.
That's
But even-
actually his best scene in the movie. I
Yeah,
feel like where
but
he
even
like
he-
loses it.
Even him was just like, what the fuck is happening? That was I laughed and laughed. And
Yeah.
laughed. That was great. If you're at work and she just start blowing up outside of your office, you're gonna be like, what's happening?
Real quick, classy, plug your ears. When the rebellion finds out about the attacks and they send out people to go help, we get the R2 and 3PO cameo.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just and 3PO is like, why don't they ever fucking tell me anything?
I hate it.
And
I
that
hate
would
it so much.
this makes officially Anthony Daniels the only person to appear in every single Star Wars movie.
ever, fucking ever,
I don't give
ever.
a flying fuck. Yeah.
Which, by the way, just to let you know, Alan Tudyk's career-defining moment is when he was told by Anthony Daniels,
Go fuck
"Go
yourself.
fuck yourself."
Wait, really? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Because he was able to perform his whole role in mocap and stilts with Anthony Daniels.
Because Anthony Daniels has spent his whole career inside of that shitty suit.
Oh
being
yeah,
getting
yeah,
injured
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
It fucked
Yeah.
his life up.
Yeah.
and
So-
he sent Alan Tudyk a letter, and he's basically, I mean, he's being flippant about it. He's not being serious, but he's like,
Derek, he's being cheeky.
yeah, he's like, hey,
Cheeky.
fuck you for not having to deal with all the shit I dealt with.
Oh, fuck
And
you,
Alan
I gotta
Tudyk has
use-
been on record as saying like that's the best moment of my life
Yeah.
is Anthony Daniels saying go fuck yourself. So during the whole assault here, Bodhi does fake distress calls to all these different bases, which is kind
Smart.
of cool, all the different pads. He's like, all right, everything's fine down here, really.
I need people to pad 5. Yeah, pad 6 is under attack too.
Excuse me, can you get people to pad 1 over here?
Well, I love
We're
that
in a
he
lot of
hands it to
trouble,
another
sir.
dude. He's like, now say you're from this pad. Like,
This is the same tactic I used to request songs from radio stations as a child.
I know, right?
Yeah, smart.
I was just like, can you play Truly Madly Deeply? Hey man, can you play Truly Madly Deeply?
I would hear 1979 from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Can you play Backstreet's Back?
now we get the full on at apparently. I'm still gonna say AT.
AT.
Kind of. This
People-
is an AT.
People claim it's the AT or at, but I'm always gonna say AT.
Um,
Because at would make sense if we call the other ones ats.
ATSAT.
I'm
yeah.
with you, Derek. I say AT.
I mean, you
And
can. I
AT-ST,
think as a
yeah.
Star Wars fan, you can say however the fuck you want. I do not care.
Well,
But
some guy on
this
Reddit
is an
cares, but-
AT-ACT.
TT.
AT, all-terrain,
Yeah.
ACT, armored cargo transport.
Fuck off.
That's why it's bigger. Do you want to hear the wrinkle in that? Because like I said, I don't care, and I do call it an AT-AT. Kenner, who does the toys on the commercial, called it an AT-AT.
Oh, so a bunch of idiots who didn't actually know.
That's the wrinkle. That's
All I'm
just the
gonna say
wrinkle
is
in it.
I've seen one Kenner commercial in my life, and it's the one that's on the Star Wars Holiday Special. So fuck them
What has
and what
Kenner
they
done
say.
besides the Star Wars line? You've done one thing right.
what has
in
Kenner
your
done
I'm
for
pretty
me
sure
lately?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they did some He-Man toys.
That's Mattel.
Oh, well
Yeah.
then nothing.
You know what?
Nothing.
Now that we're in like
Kenner got fucking lucky.
now that we're adults, Kenner should make fucking sex toys.
I mean,
Kenner should make butt plugs.
yeah, bring it on.
You know, Ray Skywalker butt plug.
But that's the story of those Star Wars toys anyway.
Orange lightsaber butt plug.
So the rebels all arrive at Scarif. Everything goes out of fucking control. There's a full-on space battle. My favorite thing that happens in the space part of the battle though is when one of these ships takes out the engines for one of the Star Destroyers,
Yeah.
and this what the fuck are they called?
Mon Calamari.
Mon Calamari guy. I almost said Mon Mothma, but you knew where
Yeah,
I
I
was going.
gotcha.
One of these Mon Calamari dudes is like, dude, I got a fucking idea.
General Radis.
He sends in the Hammerhead ship, which are just ships with big ass fucking rams on
They're
the front.
blockade runners.
These things just push this other Star Destroyer, this dead one, into this not dead one,
Uh-huh.
and
This shit
it
is actually really cool.
It leads to the end of the movie, which is them crashing into the shield generator.
Yeah, I like it.
It is
But
the coolest
Even
shit.
without the shield generator, just pushing a dead ship into another ship is fucking awesome.
It is fucking cool looking.
And when
too.
we see the shot on the live Star Destroyer of the dudes just getting knocked around, one of these dudes, one of these stuntmen, God bless him, just rams into this wall. Like, because this is not CG. This dude is thrown into a fucking wall and just like, that guy's back may have been broken,
Yeah.
but Disney has enough money to hide it.
Did you get the shot?
Because this guy hits this fucking wall and just bounces off, and I'm like, oh,
Bless you, sir.
you are a star.
Out here doing the Willis work.
Guardians of the Willix. This is the coolest thing I've seen in like a Star Wars space battle until the next year when we got the Laura Dern 11 that happened in Last Jedi. But we'll talk about that when that episode's.
This whole
episode comes
space
out.
battle though is
Holdo.
based out, and then they made sure they put an emphasis on the fact that it was filmed where the ships moved in a way that would be very similar to the way they do in A New Hope.
Yeah, because they were
Um,
using original footage, like we said earlier, plus new CG footage. So it's not they're not using miniatures, obviously,
Right.
but like
They
just-
wanted
they
things
they
to
were
move
also
and look the
using
same.
images of miniatures. They were using stuff from the original that just unused, which we also see in the final scene with Darth Vader.
It's why he looks the way he does in New Hope rather than in the later movies, because they're trying to make everything look like it happened within days of each other.
So let's get to that part. Mission succeeds. Planet blows up.
Oh, wait, one more thing.
Krennic gets his just desserts because
He
Krennic technically gets fucking sniped by the laser of the very weapon he's helped build.
Cassian and Jin, and they're trying to get this thing using this Hackers tape machine.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Hackers, yeah, you should. But also, like, when they're switching the tapes and they're having that little battle at the beginning, that's exactly what he's using. And then Jin and Cassian have to climb up to pull the tape out. And
Looks super cool.
it looks like Krennic kills Cassian, but they always come back once because Cassian's kind of a Jason.
Well, he falls and he hits his back and lower back on a bunch of fucking railings, and that shit looks like it hurts.
Also, I want to mention that Baze, is that his name, uses a fucking rocket launcher on one of these AT-ATs or whatever, AT-ACTs.
Yeah, you can just call it a walker. It'll be
Like,
fine.
Baze uses this fucking rocket launcher on this big bleep bloop robot, and it doesn't do shit. Like, it like shakes it off, and it's like, whew.
Dude, it gives him an animal look.
Yeah,
Like,
that
it-
was
the head of
rough.
thing
Dude,
moves
it's like
back.
fucking cool as fuck though.
Yeah.
it is.
And right before they leave K2 though, Jen also gives him a blaster, and she's like, "Do you want one of these?"
Finally.
And he's like,
Fucking
"Dude,"
finally.
and it's not his exact line, but it's something along the lines of, "You're fucking cool, man."
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, cool. Also, you're kind of a fucking babe.
I like when the stormtroopers start coming in and attacking K2 while he's trying to do all this shit for them, and he just hits a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
Yeah, he does.
He just picks up this stormtrooper and starts whacking other
It
stormtroopers
shows
with
how
him.
strong he actually is because we see how when he slams Jin in the beginning scene, in that first scene when they save her.
Yeah,
But like you see how strong he fucking is. Like
Well,
he's
'cause
actually so powerful.
this is a different type of droid, but it's very similar to the loader droids we saw in Obi-Wan,
Uh-huh.
where they kind of reference, like, because that thing's holding the pipe behind its back like it's about to beat some stormtroopers to death, and it never gets to.
Yeah.
This is very similar to that, and he just picks up a dude.
I mean, this thing is built instead of loading, it's built for beating
I think
people's
he beats
asses
up three
with.
dudes with a dude. You
Yeah.
can't beat a dude with another dude. You can beat
Yeah,
a
you
dude.
can.
with a
Yeah, you
dude.
George
can.
Carlin thing: grab a guy from the ankles and beat another dude to death with him. They both die, and there's no murder weapon.
So she finds the project name, and they're going through all these names that sound bad.
Except
lot-
for Darksaber.
The Darksaber, yeah.
Darksaber probably sounds perfectly fine.
And
You see
Dark.
you know the Darksaber.
I know, but I just-
They find hyperspace tracking too.
But they
like,
find
all these
Project-
callbacks to other things.
Project Stardust, which is her little cute nickname.
There was a thing I saw. There was a YouTube guy that talks about movies like this and what happens when the reshoots happen. But I'm not going to give him a shout out because if he wants to advertise on this show, then okay, I'll give him a shout out. But other than that, fuck you, pay me.
Send me
I need to see them-
$25.
I need to see the credits first.
Exactly. But no, he said that he was looking at the trailers and it looked like that where you get the plans was a different area from the comm tower, I guess.
Yeah, but
So-
we discussed that they changed the trailers from the movie.
No, but that's what I'm
completely.
saying. That in the trailers there was Jin and Cassian fighting on the beach because they were trying to get from one location to the other.
Yeah,
And then at the end of this, they probably combined them both to be one thing.
I actually read that's literally what happened because they were like, it's going too long.
yeah,
They're supposed to take these from this place to this place. They were like, it's going too long.
just climb.
It's all in the same location.
climb.
Easy.
Climb up.
Easy fix.
Yeah. Bodhi plugs into the shit and he gets destroyed. These guys give themselves up to do that. We talked about Donnie
Melchi
Yen.
dies unceremoniously because he wasn't anybody.
He was
before
nobody. He
Andor.
just became a character in
Uh-huh.
Andor, yeah. And I do like that they got the same actor because again, you could recast, but because it's so close, it's nice to have the same dude show up.
Yeah, and he
Bodhi-
looks rough because he's in prison.
If
in
it's
Andor.
almost
not
as if it
gonna
were
age.
40 years
Also,
later, you could recast
Disney money.
but-
What the fuck else are you gonna do? Cancel all your plans and go
Yeah,
do your
they called the
character.
guy that plays Melchi. They're like, do you want to play? He's like, yeah.
Do you want to play? Yep.
No, I've got a few shifts at the Mochi
Fridays.
store this week. I'm cool.
We've got some dogs to
I've
serve at
got
the Chili Emporium.
Like 4 shifts at the boba shop. No, fuck you.
I'm doing a
Star
Speaking of
Wars.
boba, do you want to be on Star Wars?
I'm doing a stage play of the Nutcracker at this local high school.
Jyn Erso gets out of there. She escapes through this razor sphincter that almost that wants to cut her in half.
I'd be
It's
dead.
supposed to be a tense moment, but like I feel like at this point they were like cut.
But
So,
it was a
Yeah.
sexy
It's
moment.
not
It
tense.
got
It's
pretty
not.
sexy.
It's, like,
it's not.
we're waiting for him to get gassed. Like we're just waiting for it.
yeah, she gets out there. She uploads the plans, and then that's when Krennic shows up, and he's like, and he gets blasted by Cassian, who we thought was dead.
Did we? Did
well,
Did
we
you?
were supposed to think he was dead.
Because like all villains, he
My note
talks
says
too
Cassian's
fucking
quote
much.
dead.
Yeah.
So, and we have this whole. There was a quick line, and I feel like Tony Gilroy did it on purpose because the episode of Andor, nobody's listening,
Oh, that's right.
and Andor says, "Do you think anybody's listening?"
Yeah.
I love that. I love
It was
that.
probably in his mind.
Yeah,
I would
100%.
say.
No question. 100%. Yeah, it's just like nobody's listening.
There's a boarding party that goes on. These dudes do this fucking relay race thing that we just talked about on Skeleton Crew.
Except this has a little bit more higher stakes.
Yeah, a little bit. You're not just saving some shitbirds. You're saving like everyone.
Well, I just meant more that instead of getting stunned, you're getting murdered
Yeah.
by the most baddest bitch in the galaxy right now, dude.
This
We needed to
is-
see Vader this badass.
This is the scene that makes this entire movie fucking matter.
Well, and I've heard people reference that like this is too much, whatever. I think it's 100% warranted, and I think it's fucking cool.
yeah.
It had to happen.
It is cool. It is cool. I don't like the fan service. Here's the thing: if you got rid of all the other shit, balls and mouth guy, the Leia thing, and left that, it would have been great. Nobody would have cared. But it is like,
Only one person cared, by the way.
do you remember? Do you remember when
This
the
guy.
beginning of Mando, there was an IG-88 that wasn't an IG-88, and he was like fucking shit up, and he was like blowing dudes away, and you know what it was. Like Jon Favreau was like, I had this fucking this action figure, and I would always love to see this guy fuck some shit up. What we do? Let me do that in Star Wars. That's what happened for Vader.
Okay.
Except the difference is we've heard about Vader being so badass forever, and we never got to see it until
We've never
now.
seen it until this
We've
point.
never seen it in live action. Like we've seen it in comics and shit. Like you need to see this to understand why Darth Vader is as fucking terrifying
We
as he
did
is.
understand it when we saw those movies as kids. He was fucking
You don't,
terrifying.
because when you
We
watch this
did.
movie and then you watch New Hope right afterwards, he moves slow. It actually makes the whole scene with Obi-Wan look like he's toying with Obi-Wan, like he's doing this. Like this movie amplifies him as a character in the it makes him so much scarier. He's just fucking
I agree.
he's scary as fuck.
I agree because I will say that like I grew up It's like Darth Vader's a badass because the movies told me he's a badass, but we don't really ever see it.
But
Here, he's just pushing dudes against the ceiling and slicing them fucking open like a raptor.
Oh, look, here's what I'm saying. I do not like when, the new reboots or whatever the shit go back and retcon the way these guys move and do the thing just to satisfy like the fan service when I was a baby, I wanted to see this, blah, blah, blah. We're going to make this happen. Make some new cool shit. Darth Vader was terrifying when he walked into that fucking spaceship at the beginning of the thing and he was standing on top of over Leia and he was like 5 feet fucking taller than she was. That was terrifying enough. However, I do like that they updated Vader's scariness to make him Jason Voorhees, basically.
God damn it.
I'll give it another compliment. He was way faster than he ever moved in the original, but also
he was still just walking down the
wasn't
hall.
doing
He
backflips.
was-
He wasn't doing backflips. He wasn't
also-
doing backflips.
No, he wasn't
like-
That
Yoda-ing.
black smoke in the beginning,
Yeah.
and
When
it's
the-
nothing, and then
he
all of a
wasn't
sudden
doing,
he's
he wasn't
there.
doing a
That was
Yoda
sick.
though, where
That was
he's
cool.
suddenly flipping.
Yeah,
Like,
that
he's-
shit sucked balls.
He's just holding dudes up to the ceiling and gutting them like a fucking
He's
Also,
raptor.
still
I will
walking
say
same
this
speed.
again. I will give this some compliments. He didn't do anything in that scene that you didn't conceive that he could have done in the original trilogy. He's like holding back the blasters with his hand. He's slicing dudes up. He's blocking blasters, which people can do with lightsabers.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it's like I'm conflicted. Is what I'm saying. I'm conflicted.
I'm not. I love it. I cannot.
I like it.
10
I will
of-
say,
11
like
of 10.
This movie is 2 hours and 13 minutes with credits, and 2 hours and 4 minutes is where we finally see a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because this movie-
that's fair.
They say the word Jedi once, maybe twice.
There's no
Yeah.
Skywalker at all in
There's
the
no-
movie.
they
no
didn't-
reference
they don't
to
say the word
Skywalker,
Skywalker.
which is fucking great.
And there is a Skywalker in the movie.
I mean, yeah.
That must be who they were referring to, right? Because one of the people on the Rebel base said something to Mon Mothma about like, "Oh, invite your Jedi friend," and she's like, "She'll be very happy to hear this."
Yeah, I think.
I
that-
I mean,
like
she's
yeah.
not a Jedi, but
Actually, there's two Skywalkers in this movie because Darth Vader's Anakin.
well, yeah.
I think that the Jedi friend is Obi-Wan, but she
I think that actually might
obviously
be
is
killed.
Leia. That like she'll be excited to reach out.
The disc gets out, and then we get the really shit version of Leia being like, "What is it they've sent us? Hope."
The only time
Credits.
we've ever had dialogue in the closing scene of a Star Wars movie, like
Yeah.
at that up.
Usually it's just a bunch of music
really?
because
Yeah.
well
Oh.
because Michael Giacchino or whatever his name is isn't John Williams. He did a good job.
You did
Yeah.
a great job.
But
Yeah.
you don't end the music with in the movie with his music. You end the movie with people talking over his music.
Because it's not an
John
episode;
Williams.
it's a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
When
Different
Rogue, when
rules.
the critics come out Rogue One, it sounds like it's about to be the Star Wars theme, and then it goes a little bit like, do, da, 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 and it goes a little bit different. I loved it.
So we do a lightsaber rating. It's been a long time.
Yeah. You could have up to 3. There's halves and
5.
quarters. Oh, 5. Okay,
Yes.
3
5 lightsabers.
thumbs.
Yeah. So 5 lightsabers. You can do a Yoda saber, which is a half, or a Khmer saber, which is a quarter. So we'll start with our guests, Classy Alcoholic. How do you rate this movie?
3 3/4 lightsabers with the other one. 3 3/4.
So 3 a Yoda and a Khmer.
Yeah,
Ooh, all right, the full
3.375
spread.
lightsabers.
Yeah, one of each.
Yeah.
This has been a 5 for me since the moment I saw this movie. I've always loved the Star Wars movie. I have always said this is the best Star Wars movie. I've always said it. I love this movie. I love what it stands for. I love everything about this movie. I'd give it 6 lightsabers if it was available.
I will give it.
Andor. I
will give it 5. I mean, it's a beautiful Star Wars movie. Great look, sound design. I can watch it all the time.
And no disrespect to our opinionated guest, but I'm also going to go 5 sabers because this is a fucking great movie. The only thing's better
Doesn't
than this,
feel over 2 hours.
no. And the only things better than or equal to this are 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Period. In my opinion. Like you, Classy, I love The Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
But
that's a 5 lightsaber.
for me, that falls. It's real close. Basically, it's like 4 and 5 because they have to be together because one's not one without the other. And then somewhere in the third space is either this or Last Jedi for me personally.
I probably would have rated like 4.5 lightsabers when I first watched it. But again, with time, with the Tarkentown shit, with watching Andor 3 times, I'm like, that shit goes down.
That's fair.
It just becomes the story to me becomes more and more relevant to modern time as time goes on,
And
so it becomes the better Star Wars movie to me because it shows you what it takes to actually make shit happen.
We have 2 guests. Do you guys have something to plug? Brandon?
Well, I'm currently late for the gig, but I'm going on happy hour later.
Yeah.
DJ MDK on happy hour at Music Box. You can check me out on my Instagram, Burger Time, BRGR_TIME. I started to sell T-shirts recently, like Electric Mayhem, but as the band Mayhem, and like just weird shit. So come check me out. Hit me up. I'll guide you where you need to go.
Classy.
Cool. I host my own podcast. I co-host my own podcast. It's about pro boxing. It is called the Mixed Company Podcast, and it is boxing is my favorite sport in the world, and I've never cared about any other sport. And we have I have a co-host named Jameson Welsh. We do barbershop style conversation about boxing. So it doesn't have to be timely. The show is not always timely. Sure, of course, we talk about like this fight is happening, this fighter is doing this, but we talk about the race issues in sports and fandom, politics and history. We're about to record an episode on Jack Johnson, a boxer who was the first black man in America to win the heavyweight championship in the early 1900s. So here's the thing. I love boxing. I don't love any other sport. If you don't like sports at all, you should still tune into my show because I want to teach you some shit about the sport that I love and some things that will help you impress your friends at a bar.
2-second question. 2-second question.
Yes.
Tyson or Ali?
I don't like any of that. Like, who would fight other guys that aren't alive in this thing? There is plenty of guys right now that you can talk about who would win against each other, who are alive. That's a waste of time.
This is the right answer.
No
This is
offense.
the right
no
answer,
offense.
by the way.
Like, I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit. Yeah.
I'll throw my hat into the ring that people who listen to this, or more people who listen to Bad Movies Worse People, know I don't give a shit about any sport.
Yep.
I've listened to 4 episodes, I think,
of the Mixed Company Podcast.
Of the Mixed Company Podcast, which is Classy's podcast, and I've had a good time listening to them.
Hell yeah.
Because they're talking about, I mean, of course, right now there's not a lot of fights happening, I guess, but they're talking about stuff that's going on, and then also just, it's our friend the Classy Alcoholic being an opinionated asshole, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. I said when I'm gonna do this show, even if there are no fights going on, I want to talk about the sport itself. Again, fandom and what it takes to like be. I've taken boxing classes. I've sparred. It's fucking gotten my ass kicked with dudes in the ring plenty of times, and I'm trying to bring that into the conversation. And I want to bring newbies in who maybe want to learn about boxing and teach them some shit. So we release every other Thursday. So we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So check us out.
This guy gave Rogue One like a 3.5. I might go outside and fight him right now.
check out our Patreon to see
Should
Brandon.
have had video.
Check out our Patreon to see Brandon and Classy fight in my driveway.
Follow
Patreon.com/worstpeople, where you can also get the Hot Tech Shots first episode early. It's only $3 a month, and you get extra episodes for our other shows. So if you like listening to both, do that. Like that transition? That was good. Our next episode will be on Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Keep it to yourself, Classy. And, of course, we have to thank our previous guest, Ryan/Bleep/Magilla Gorilla, for providing our opening and closing music. So that's it for this episode, or episodes,
Probably episodes.
I've been Derek.
I'm Jack.
It's a me, Brandon.
I'm the Classy Alcoholic.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.
Yeah.
when I first saw this movie, it was way back in the 2000s.
I said it was the best Star Wars movie before anyone said it.
I didn't think that Disney was going to do anything good with the IP. Oh, I peed. Oh, no.
You mean intellectual property? No, I peed.
My thermal port is leaking.
I pooped.